Good afternoon. Sorry for the delay, but this is what happened. This is what happens when we totally rely on computers. So I guess we can look for this to happen. But anyway, better late than never. So thank you for tuning in. And today I'm going to talk about a couple of things that has my attention. I want to talk a little bit about Judge Ketanya Brown Jackson that's being confirmed for the Supreme Court. I watched a little bit of it yesterday, and I was watching how Lindsey Graham really seems to be interrogating this lady. I mean, putting her through the third degree. But at the same time, now we must remember that Supreme Court justice is just that. It's the highest court, and you should have, or you should be clear on their views on a lot of things, especially religion. People say that you can separate church and state. I personally don't think so, because your religion is your way of life. So to separate that is to separate you from yourself, and to me that's impossible. But that's just how I look at it. Um, and he was questioning her on about her religion, which some people think maybe that he was a bit uh, overzealous in his proceedings in regard to asking her these questions. But I do think that the question was warranted. But my point is, ask all of the judges that's going to be confirmed to the Supreme Court. Ask them all the same questions in the same way. Don't pick and choose what questions you want to ask this person or what questions you want to ask that person. I don't think that should be done. And it seems to me that uh, Miss Jackson was kind of picked out as far as some of the questions that the Republicans was asking her. And I mean, you get someone like Josh Hawley. He was asking her questions. I mean, this guy practically is he was against, or should I say, he was for, in favor of, or he did not denounce the insurrection on our own capital. So how is someone like this can sit in a seat and judge anyone? I don't understand that either. I mean, it's just common sense. But getting back to the confirmation of Judge Jackson, her religion, from what I feel, religion is your way of life, is how what you believe, how you live your life. So I think right from the door, um, Nancy Graham said he only go to church once or twice a year, but that's okay. Your body is your temple of the Holy Spirit. Holy Spirit. The Bible is your body is your church. So just because you go to a church every day and sit inside a building, your mind can be elsewhere. So your body being a temple of the Holy Spirit seems to make a lot of sense to me. So, but anyway, I just had to bring that out because that kind of touched me a little bit. That how he drilled her as far as that's concerned, and then again, which I felt that when someone asked her about uh, judging child pornography, and how she felt about that, or how she was lenient about that, to me that was totally out of place and disgusting. Disgusting. A lady of this quality, a family, has children of her own, and for these Republicans to ask her a question like that, you know. But they did it, and I guess some people seem to think that it was appropriate, but everybody have their own opinion. and opinions seem to be baseless. A lot of them. I like to know sometime what are the credentials of these people that have all these uh, opinions, regardless of what they are. So we can, when you start doing that, you can look at all of the all of the politicians, look at all the Republicans and the Democrats, and check their background and see what's in their background to cause them to vote and think the way they're thinking. You know, excuse me. Um, so that's something we need to think about. Uh, every time, or all the time when I turn the news on during the day, I'm always listening how we're critical of the United States, how we're critical of this person and that person, even though it it seems to be a little bit unwarranted, and we get a lot of opinions and degrading of certain people, and some people are warranted. The degrading is justified, but I mean, we just tear this country down all the time. It just it's headache. It gives me a headache to listen to this stuff every day, all the time. And we all live in America. America to me is the best. It doesn't have to be the best country in the world, but we got freedom. We have a lot of freedom, a lot of potential. We can do a lot of things in this country, and we just seem to be trashing it and tearing it down and not really doing what we need to do as a people to make this truly a United States of America. And things are changing. People are changing. Young people are changing. They're not there. A lot of the hate is being removed, even though you would sometimes you have to wonder and think about it based on what we're hearing and how people are trashing one another and all the different types of hate groups and name calling and stuff like that that's being done. We need to think about these things and change. And one other thing I need to talk about before I get to the topics that I really want to talk about this evening. Um, I want to touch on this accident between, well, it wasn't so much accident, but this lady under the influence of alcohol killed two state troopers and a pedestrian. And with all the technology that we have today, why isn't there something in these automobiles? Get rid of all this high tech stuff. You got, uh, mirrors, back seat, roof, and all. Get rid of some of that high tech stuff and put something in your car where if you're under the influence of alcohol, you cannot get behind the wheel. The car will not start up. Put some kind of sensors in that car if you've been smoking weed, or if you've been under any type of influence of drugs, that as a sensor can detect that, and that car will not start up. We have to get serious about this stuff. This is no joke. Anytime when you under the wheel of an automobile with the horsepower and the power that you're doing, and people can get killed, we have got to pay attention to this, people. We have got to pay attention to this, because now we talk about legalizing pot. Okay, they already have alcohol. People already driving under the influence. We're talking about electric cars with these batteries. They say when they catch fire in accidents, excuse me, they say it may take 3 or 4 days or a week to put the fire out. I heard on the news the other day we talking about flying cars. Now here we talking about all this stuff going on here. You got flying cars, and you also got with the you got drones, flying drones, all this stuff. And that we're in the middle of all this stuff with no protection. See, so I mean, we're setting ourselves up for a lot of trouble, a lot of trouble, a lot of danger. You're not even going to come out your house. It won't even be safe. You're walking down the street and all of a sudden a car done fell on your head, dropped something on you, a drone. It's a lot. Progress is progress. I get that. But if progress is happening at the cost of human lives, is it really progress? And what's the rush? Why do we need to go and do things at record speed? They tell me they're having cars now, I think 1,000 horsepower. Doesn't make sense. Inflation. I know right now things are going up. The cost of food is going up. The price of gas is going up. Okay. So what we're gonna have to do is sometimes you have to tighten your belt. Everybody wants to start complaining. Tighten your belt. I think the price of food may be the best thing for some people. Maybe a good way to lose some weight. And another thing we can consider: why do we have to work 5, 6 days a week? Why don't we cut the work week down to maybe 3 days a week? No more than 4. So now you're saving money. You don't have to drive as much. If you cut back, if you start thinking instead of so much complaining about inflation, which I personally think it has to do with a lot of overpricing being done to the people, and that's what happens when you have a handful of people controlling everything. But we cut back. Won't hurt. Won't hurt to be cut back. You might find sometimes if you cut back, then people have sometimes the people that own everything have a tendency to lower their prices. You know, you have to start separating. Sometimes start separating your wants and needs in life. You know? And things will change, but we have to become more responsible. I walk in the streets. The streets are deplorable. Got paper everywhere. I don't understand it. What's wrong with taking a broom? Get a broom and clean and sweep the streets. You don't have to just. I mean, it's a beautiful country, and then you complain. You complain about your neighborhood. And then you want to move to another neighborhood that where these people keep their neighborhood clean. They take pride in where they live. So now you want to move out of your neighborhood and move into their neighborhood. And then you get angry when people say, "Oh no, I don't want you here." It has nothing to do with. I don't think it has a lot of things doesn't have anything to do with racism or this. But you know what? It's a shame. But things have gotten so bad, and people have gotten such a bad reputation that if certain people move into a neighborhood, the property value will come down. You can say it. You can say what you want. I'm only speaking the truth. And it has nothing. When people say they don't want you in the neighborhood, it has nothing to do. It has nothing to do with racism or color or this and that. If you're a type person and you have a reputation of not taking care of your neighborhood and not doing what you're supposed to do in order to make things better, to better yourself, guess what? This is what you're going to get. And people, you know, some of us have gotten a bad reputation, a reputation that we have given ourselves. And there's reasons, I'm sure there's reasons, excuses for everything, but you know what? There comes a time when you got to accept things the way they were, but you don't have to, but you can also, you can accept things as they were, But at the same time, you don't have to live that way. You can better yourself. That's one good thing about this. You can work this country. You can work and you can do things and you can better yourselves, but you have to work together. You have to work together. It's not that difficult, but when you don't have trust, and that's again, you don't have trust among yourselves. That's again. And I'm speaking from experience. I've had contractors. I mean, all colors, all different, all types. I've had contractors that come do work for me, and guess what? They tell me they want to give me a price before they even tell me what they're going to do. Then they want to ask for a deposit. I said, deposit for what? Then they'll do the work. They ask for a deposit. Then they'll do the work and they'll half-ass do it. Sometimes they won't come back to work. You measure stuff, the corners is off, but yet they want to get paid. You try and help them, you know, and you do that because you realize how difficult things are. But you've got to stand behind what you do. You have to stand behind your word. If you give somebody your word, let that be you. Shakespeare said, "He who steals my purse steals nothing, but he who steals my name steals everything." And that's what you have. A good name can take you. It can take you anywhere you want to go. It's a reputation. But if you get a bad one, I'm gonna tell you, you'll never get off the ground. And we have to realize that we have to you have to work. Not so much work, but you have to learn. And you have to know what it is you want to learn, you know. So you can do anything you want to do. Once you know what it is you want to do, then you go find out what it takes to do it and you do. Simple as that. You can't get something for nothing. And if you do get something for nothing, you sure enough can't complain about it if it's all screwed up. You can't. You don't have a leg to stand on. So uh that's that. What else did I want to talk about before I get to my main topic for today? But the topics that I'm writing, that I'm going to talk about, I'm pulling them out, some out of the book that I'm writing, and some is coming out of just things that happens every day. And I have a topic today that I thought would be good to talk about. I had it. I had it. I have it. This is what's called. Come on, where's my? Uh, this is what's called. Hmm. Oh, here we go. I had it rolled up. What I'm talking about today is is a topic that I think people can relate to if you really think about it. And the topic is the value of life has taken a back seat to money. Yeah. Just think about that for a second. The value of life has taken a back seat to money. And today it seems like, it's written that money is the root of all evil, which it isn't. It's not. Money is just money. It's just paper. It's used as a medium of exchange. Paper money is a medium of exchange. And what people do with it, how you value it, and what you'll do to get it, it's really surpassed, I think, what people do to live. You see people robbing, killing, they taking from the old, they taking from the sick, everything for money. It's nothing they won't do for money. And it seems like the more money people have, the more money they want, which I can't understand that either. And the funny thing about that, you can have millions and millions of dollars, but on your deathbed, you will give all that up, all that wealth up, to live another day and to be with your family, children. So that tells me right there that money isn't everything. You know, uh, you see, if people go out here, they do something, they get themselves in a situation, and they'll say, "Well, okay, we could get you out of this, but it's going to cost you so many millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands." People give it up just like that for their freedom. They give it up because it's not worth what they say it is, even though it can buy. Money can buy you anything, but more life when time's up, and you give all your money to purchase more time. That's why sometimes, I think people don't. They really don't tell you that. You may not hear a lot of people saying what I'm saying, but to me, it's true. Uh, you can, regardless of what you have or what that money can purchase for you, over time, after a time, it's old. Whatever they buy for you, whatever that money buy for you, after a time, it's old. And people always want sometimes things that they can't have. It's nothing. I mean, they look good, absolutely. But a lot of these things people buy because they themselves need them. They need them to feel good about themselves. They need that to feel superior, like they're better. But it's their feeling. It's what they need. You understand? Sometimes people feel that need to want to walk somewhere and be catered to. I mean, and I'm look. It's a nice feeling. I felt that. It's nice. It's a nice feeling. But guess what? It's not it's a better feeling is to feel good about yourself. A better feeling is to get inside yourself and do something good to help humanity. A better feeling is to do something to help the planet. A better feeling is to help a child to do something. A better feeling is to help abandoned animals. That's a better feeling to do something that's worth something. But see, a lot of times, people with money, they don't experience that because they don't even go there. They don't. They don't even know anything about that feeling. You get all the so-called glamour and the cars and the whatever you take. I mean, it's a sense that people with money, you have to have something. As people have to make something for you to spend money on. Otherwise, there's no point in even making the money. You see. But for someone that can't, that doesn't have that amount of income, I'm here to tell you, you don't need that money. You don't need that kind of money to be happy, to feel good about yourself, to live in a decent home. to take vacations. You don't you don't you don't have to work yourself to the bone for that. It's I'm telling you, you can all you have to do is a good management. Learn how to manage your money. Learn how to budget. Learn how to save. You don't have to go out. Do you have to go out every night of the week when you can't afford it and spend $100, $200 for dinner? That's half of $200 a dinner. That's at least a third. That's a third of the average person's take home salary. You know, quarter of it at least. That's a lot of money. And people do it. Think nothing of it. You know? You've got to start using common sense on your spending. Set goals for yourself. You know? Two can live better than one. We got to change our entire lifestyle. And that's the bottom line too. The bottom line is we had not only do we have to clean up America, we have to clean up ourselves. We have to start thinking better. Using common sense when it comes to buying, using common sense when it comes to spending. Use common sense when it comes to saving and investing. And we also have to learn how to work together. Learn how to work together. People on your block or 2 blocks know each other. We the people today don't even know their next door neighbor. Get together and start a little business or something. Food business. But we have to do something if we want to live. If we want to survive in the future, we have got to start doing things now, laying some groundwork now. You know, the rich don't worry about it. They already got theirs. And people, there are people out here that what the things that I'm saying, people out here are doing it, and people out here are making it, and people are here laying the groundwork for their future. You've got to get a good education. You've got to learn something. It's competitive out here, man. See, what's happening now too is a transition. A transition is taking place. And when the transition takes place, meaning that we're getting ready to change, we're going over from from the gasoline cars, for an example, to the electric cars. So okay. So now, what does that mean? That means that the mechanics that was working on these gasoline cars, people that's making the part for these gasoline cars, they're being phased out now. They're going to be phased out. You don't need carburetors and all this stuff now for batteries. I mean, for these electric cars. You see. So what's going to happen to these people? Well, they said, well, you can learn this and learn that. No. Because what's happening now is these young people are coming in with these young minds now. They're studying these computers and all these batteries and how these things work, chemistry and all this, the physics and stuff. This is where we're going to. Nanotechnology and all this stuff. This is where we're going. You know? And if these children is not up to it, you're lost. You're really lost. And with these high-paying jobs, even with the high-paying jobs, say you got these fast food places and the restaurants and stuff. If they're gonna start paying you $20, $15, $20 an hour, 20-some dollars an hour, you know what? You got to pass a test, man. You think you can just walk in off the street and get these jobs? No, You gotta be qualified. You gotta be tested. And now with these computers, they're gonna have some tests on you. And all these people out here thinking, oh well, pot's legal now. We can smoke pot and don't have to worry about the police or anything like that. You can smoke it all right if you want to. But what if I have a restaurant or a business And I said, no, no smoking. No, I give drug tests. Okay. Now you get ready to work for me, and I give you a random drug test, and if I find out you got some kind of substance in your blood, you out of here, man. See, I don't know if they tell you that now. I don't know if they tell you if you got any traces of drugs and THC or whatever comes from marijuana in your system, because when you're working on with these uh, high tech jobs with technology and stuff like that, I mean, you got to be straight up. They have more they have more uh, tests and things that you have to do, and more on their resume than these politicians have when they run run for to be elected for office. That's right. The president don't even have to go through all that. Right. I often wonder about these politicians, especially the president of the United States, when you get elected. Here I am. No no political experience at all. Okay. Now I get elected into office, and here I am making life and death decisions or decisions that will affect the economy in countries around the world when I have no experience. How can I do that? I often wonder about that. That doesn't make sense to me. You know, you have to think about it. But I think we have to put life back where it belongs, because people they take life so easily. It's nothing there for someone to take a gun and shoot somebody, or take a bat or hit somebody in the head and knock them out, not even thinking one punch can kill a person. They don't care. They don't think about the value of life. And they don't think about the fact that we have to pay. Everybody have to pay for everything that we do here on this earth. Every thought that we think, we have to account for it. You know, we have to account for it. And people we don't think about that. It seems like money has taken a front seat to life. People say, I don't care. Let me get that money. I don't care what it is for me to get it. Let me get that money. Get it, get it, get it. And it just boggles the mind. Boggles the mind. But at the same time, I think it goes to what I'm not blaming this on society, but you're a product of your environment. You're a product of everything that enter into your mind. And this is put at the forefront of a capitalistic system, which is about money, and that is to get you to spend your money. So all you are is a means to a dollar, and everybody is trying to get every company, no matter what, is trying to get their hands in your pocket to get you to buy their product. That's just it. That's it. And there's nothing wrong with buying people's products. That's fine. That's what the system is about. And we need to do that so we all can live to keep the ball rolling, so to speak. You know. But don't sell me something for $10 that costs you a nickel. And just because I don't know or because I need it, you can charge me. I think that's the problem. I think that's where we went wrong at. Because it used to be a time that a salesperson could be trusted, back in the day. If a person sold you something, bam, it's gold. His word was golden. If it wasn't right, call him, he'd come back and fix it. But most time people took pride. They took pride in their work, and they gave you $1 worth of work for $1. Now you'll pay $1,000 for $10 worth of work. That's the problem. And people don't. A lot of times, people don't make that kind of money that they're being charged, but nobody cares. It's all about the money. You need it. I got it. You got to pay it. You know what a guy told me one time, a plumber. I called the plumber's name. Told me this. He said he was doing a outside job on this property, and I knew the plumber's name. But right away, when I said that, I said, "Man," I said, I know this person got to go in his pocket and pay y'all some money." You know what he told me? He said, if this same job was an emergency, if they had called him and told him, say, this is an emergency, I need you to come out and do this job, he said the price would be twice as much. They would charge you twice. Think about that. Think about it for a second. If you had told him that was an emergency, he would have charged you twice as much. Get the same job, same time, nothing. But just because you needed it, he would charge you twice. He told me out of his own mouth. And people do that. They do it. You know, you don't become a billionaire or multimillionaire, you know, just by charging people, right? And I'm not saying, hey, look, make $1 million. You know, the easiest way to make money, to make $1 million. Okay. I'll give you an example. A guy can come on and sell you something that you know is a deal, and he can sell it to you and it doesn't even work. Okay. And if he sell 1 million of them to 1 million different people for $2, and if it doesn't even work, you won't return it, you done made $2 million just that quick. The key to making money is serving a lot of people. You mean, oh, it ain't $2, I go buy it. Sure, it's only $2, but guess what? 1 million people with $2 is 2 million. See? Now, right away, millionaire. How many times have you bought something that somebody sold you supposed to be working, it wasn't worth 2 cents? Didn't do the job. They didn't care. You didn't send it back. You just forgot about it. Oh, it's $1, so don't worry about it. 50 cents. If they make 1 million people buy something for 50 cents, you done made $500,000. You understand? I'm telling you something. I'm telling you something because we have to, you have to, we all have to. We live in this world together. And if we can make things easy on ourselves, then we have to do that. And we can do that by working together. It's simple. If these politicians, if people in charge, if they really cared about the people, we wouldn't be in the situation we're in now in this country. In the richest countries in the world, we wouldn't be in this situation. Because life doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. The drug companies were selling these people all this fentanyl or whatever this kind of stuff. I can't pronounce it. They didn't care. People was dying. They didn't care. You have to care about yourselves. You have to care about yourself, to know enough about yourself, to want to put life first. Put your life first. When you eat something, Think about what you're getting ready to put into your body. You get ready to drink something. Think about what you're getting ready to put into your body. And family. Think about your family. When you do something, go ahead and get in trouble. It's not just you, it's your family. Your family suffers. Your loved ones suffer. We have to take life serious and put life where it's supposed to be, at the top. And people talk about whether or not someone believes in God. A guy told me one time, he said, man, I don't believe in God. I told him, if you don't believe in God, that's on you. But I do. And believing in God is simply believing in a higher power. A higher power, believing right and wrong. And in believing in these things, you make these things manifest in your world. It makes you strong, makes your mind strong. It gives you purpose. God puts purpose to life, meaning to life. But whatever you believe, atheists, whether you believe it or not, even though you're an atheist, it's still a religion. It's a religion without God, because religion is simply a way of life. And when you live your life based on your religion, you are a manifestation of what you believe. You understand? So that's why when someone tell me there's something, right away, you under the looking glass with me, because I'm checking you out. Because you are who you are. You can tell me one thing, but if you tell a lie, then you're a liar. You're not that. Because there's rules and regulations and means and things that you have to do to acquire that godly level of consciousness. You can't flip-flop on that. That's why I say your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit. We are all children of God. God is supreme wisdom, supreme knowledge and understanding. And when we live that manifests itself through us, and we are a representative of our God, or who we believe and how we believe. People don't. It's not just plain. It's that simple. It's real. It's something that we need to pay attention to. We need to develop. You can't lie to yourself, even though sometimes people try to do it. But in the end, you can't. You can't. And I've said before that uh, when people realize that death is not the ending, but the beginning, and really get some understanding, I think things will change. Things will change in the way how people live, just as things when people start realizing uh, the chemicals and how bad certain foods and things were, and how they really got to the point where now they came up now with the health food stores, and now everything has the ingredients written on the back of the package and things like this. This all comes from being aware and also caring about yourself and wanting to live. They do that. That's why sometimes people, you notice sometimes people, uh, I've seen some athletes do it. Not only, but anytime people have dedicated their life to doing something, to attaining a certain goal in life. And once they've reached that goal, sometimes they have nervous breakdowns. They don't know what to do because they have given their whole life to attaining this goal. And once they attain it, now what? They have no place to go now. They did that. See, they thought attaining that goal was going to give them everything they wanted, but it didn't. You see, that's why everything is everything. Success. I learned a long time ago, success, you know, it's a state of mind, it's believing in yourself, number one, that you can accomplish whatever it is you want to accomplish. But you don't live for that. That's the reason I became that's the reason I became a philosopher, or a person that interested in knowledge, interested in developing myself, my mind, and getting the potential out of my body, because everything else has an ending to it. You climb Mount Everest, you get to the top, then where do you go from there? It's end, boom. But knowledge has no ending. You see, that's why. But the thing about it is, people don't realize. I got to get back to that rabbit again. I can't get away from the greyhounds chasing that fake rabbit, because people don't do that. They don't see. They don't step outside. They don't catch that fake rabbit to realize that it's fake. And the ones that do catch it, which they do, that the rich catches it. The rich catches that fake rabbit. That's why you wonder was you look at some of them. They walk around. Hey, don't mean nothing. Money don't mean nothing. They want multi-millionaires. You can walk right past them on the street. They may look like they don't have $10 in their pocket. Don't mean nothing. They got that. They want it's that inner peace. That's what you live for. Get the money. I mean, nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. If that's what you want to do, but you don't live for it. You don't live for it, because it's going to run out. That's going to run out, or you're going to run out. You don't live for money, and that's what we have the cart. We have the cart before the horse. You know, and money has made us prisoners within ourselves, trying to run a life chasing a fake rabbit that we don't even know is fake. A lot of people know it's fake. They don't tell people it's fake, but they know. They know. A lot of them. But once we start, uh, just stop and think sometimes, and put your life first. Put your life first. Do you need this? Sit down and think things out before you go out and go spend it on. Write stuff down and see, well, what do we need, and that's what you buy. The worst thing in the world is to go shopping when you're hungry. But we have to do that, and we have to live for it, not just for today, but we have to live for tomorrow, and live for the future, and live for your children, and you have to prepare them for the future, because the future is going to be it's going to be something that, if you're not prepared for it, you're going to catch holy hell. I'm telling you. I can just see it already. It's already here. It's coming. And for people to always talk about selling your home, people want to come and buy your home. Sell me your home. Sell me your home. Why you to sell your home for what? Unless you, I can understand if you're a senior, or a person that if you're going to move to some other place, for some reason like that. But just to sell your house to go buy another house, you better think about that. You better think about what it's worth. You got to put that life. You got to put that life uh, before the money, because you got to live. You sell your house, you got to live. You know, money today doesn't money today doesn't amount to a whole hell of a lot. But if you own some land, land is like something you can plant that seed in. You know, seed is no good without some land if you can't plant it in something. So if you don't have own something that you can plant yourself in, your life in, to live and also to sustain your children, their grandchildren, don't do it. That's what you have to start looking at. It's not a joke. You know, things gonna really fly. Things gonna really fly. The price of food, uh, price of gas, cars, uh, everything. But all we have to do is when that inflation comes, all we have to do is scale back, and save that money, invest it in something. You know, and once you work together with your family. You know what might be a surprise to might surprise people if they call a meeting, right? Call a family meeting. Families always arguing and this and that, but you know what? Families survive when they stick together. If you call a family meeting and see how many, you know, or family reunion, which they do have now anyway. But if you call a meeting, everybody sit down and get to come together and sit at the table and just see how much money that family got can come up with. You might be surprised. You might be surprised what's in that family and the amount of money that that family can put together and invest in something that the family owns, that the family can work together, some kind of project, do something, you know, or help sustain somebody that's in other words a family member can, you can loan money to your family that instead of borrowing from banks and stuff like that. I mean, it's so much stuff that people can do to help each other. But we can't help one another if we always argue, we fighting at each other, we don't trust one another. We can't do anything like that. And that's the reason we're in the situation we're in now. But we can. Everybody, everybody, I find one thing. Everybody respects intelligence, you know what I'm saying? And a person that's doing something. That gets respect, you know. So uh so we just have to kind of tighten our belts a little bit in this inflation. And you might find out things won't be as hard, as tough as people say they are. See, sometimes we can just talk and talk and talk about something and make things tough before it even gets here. We already done crapped out before we even get here because we've been putting that in our heads for so long. We have to stop that. We have to stop and start thinking for ourselves, start doing things for ourselves, and realizing that, you know, nobody's going to do for you. You have to do for yourself. But no, people don't have a problem with helping someone that's trying to help themselves. You know, I look at people sometimes. They homeless. They walk in the streets with a sign say help me. They're homeless. They could very well be homeless, but in this country, that I don't think there's no reason why anyone should be homeless unless I'm missing something. And then they can be out. They can be walking up and down the street asking for money. But I'm saying if you strong enough to walk up and down the street all day long with a sign, you strong enough to get a shave, get you some clothes, you get a job somewhere. And if you don't get a job, you can go to get into a community college, some kind of job program, a work program. There's things that can be done. But I come to the conclusion that if you're constantly out there walking the street and asking for money every day, and I see you out there every day, then giving you money isn't really helping you. And I mean, I especially if I see an older person out there. I mean, you give them money, you feel sorry for them, and you want to help them, but at the same time, you do that. But there's so many programs going on that they need to get into a program because that's not happening. It's not. So um, that's that's just that's just how it is. We have to do more for ourselves. We got to start thinking. We have to start using common sense in everything that we do. In education, I cannot say enough about education. Young people, they're in serious trouble if they don't get the proper education. And we need to get involved. We need to start helping one another. We need to start cleaning up our neighborhoods, doing work with our houses, and creating job programs, and stop so much of just having things where people can occupy their time and not really use their brain to a point where it can help them sustain themselves by getting jobs and learning stuff. So on that note, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I know I was late. It wasn't my fault. It was due to the computer. And like I said before, we need to put life before money. Thank you very much. And I hope everybody have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Thank you.